and put 5,000 people in Seoul, Korea in a room. Before we end the interview, let's just pick a date and let's me and you work on a date. 5,777 people.
that's 지금. Okay. I am very excited in this interview too. You are very busy day today too.
Oh, well, yeah, I hope so.
Do you know, last interview we made it, this is very great success in Korea. You are very happy. Your book become much better selling after our interview. Now in best selling 20. It's very good. 10x rules. We are very happy to this book now. We interview today for this Be Obsessed. I ask you some question, but you say something you want to say.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this interview.
Thank you. First question, I go directly. To become a millionaire, you need to save 40% of the monthly income with seed money while earning 20% profit each year. Many Korean audience are interested in this topic. Are you still maintaining the rate 40% saving, 20% returns?
Yeah, so what I recommend is that people put as much attention on their investments as they do the quality of their life. So typically what happens with people is they get, let's say 100 units of something, and they might be saving some money, okay? Because Koreans are typically fairly good at saving money. Americans are terrible at it. We only save like 5 or 6% of our total income. But what people should be doing is not looking at what they're saving. They should be looking at what they're investing. So out of every 100 units, what I want to do is I want to take 40 of the 100 units and I want to push it aside for investing. And then I basically want to live off the other 60 units to control my taxes, my self-improvement, and my business, my marketing, my advertising, my employees, etc. What happens when you do this is you have to produce more money in order to even live life. The last thing I'll say about that is most people have their priorities screwed up, meaning they earn income, they improve the quality of their life, and then whatever's left over, they then invest. You should improve the quality of the things you invest in first, not improve the quality of your life, not where you live, what you drive, your clothes. That will happen later once you've created wealth.
You warning in never invest in things that can lose your money. Can you tell us 3 investment areas without any loss?
When I started investing money, I was 30 years old. I had a small business and I was starting to make more money. And as I made money, I invested some of it back into my business. As I invested money back in my business, I made more money. So at some point, I was like, I want to get some of the money out of my business, and I wanted to start creating and having other investments like most people want to do at some point in their wealth journey. I looked at where can I invest my money 5 things I was looking to accomplish. If your audience would focus on these 5 things, then they decide the asset class. Okay, number 1, I don't want to lose my money. I don't want my capital to go down. I do not want to lose my money. Number 2, I need passive income. I want income, what I refer to as drips, tiny little returns on a monthly basis. 3, I would like some kind of tax advantage and reduce my tax bill from my earned income. 4, I want long-term appreciation. And number 5, I would like to have leverage from that asset. Leverage being I invest $1 million, but I'm able to get $3 or $4 million worth of investment, okay? So when I look at those 5 things, stocks do not qualify. I'm trading paper for paper. What is your Korean dollar called?
Won.
The won. I don't want to trade won, the won, a piece of paper, no matter how trustworthy that piece of paper is. I don't want to trade it for another piece of paper. I want to trade paper for something more valuable than the paper. I don't want to trade a US dollar for a US bond or a Apple stock. It's basically just a piece of paper. So when I looked at it, I don't want to lose my money. Apple stock can go down, the won can go down, and the won will go down. All dollars and all wons devalue over time. That's the problem with saving money, by the way. People that save money are actually losers. You're not saving money, you're losing money. Bitcoin does not provide passive income. It does not provide a tax write-off. It can go up or down. I believe it will go up. The stock markets can go up, can go down. They don't provide tax write-offs. They don't provide leverage, and they typically do not provide passive income. What assets do that? There's only a couple. Gold doesn't do it. Silver doesn't do it. Magnesium doesn't do it. Iron doesn't do it. Commodities don't do it. Real estate provides capital protection, passive income, tax advantages, and leverage. And leverage is the ultimate way to create wealth while you're receiving these 15 and 20% returns.
If you have a $5,000 per month incomes, what would you invest in without any loss to create additional incomes?
The three things that people should invest in before you just look to invest money to make money, the most important thing that a human being can invest in is the human being, not in something else, okay? Life is not going to get better for you until you get better for life. And so the best investment above every investment I've ever made in my entire life, and I have invested billions of dollars, is the investments I've made in me. When I was 28 years old and I only had $5,000, I invested that $5,000 in me. I didn't look for a piece of property to buy or a stock to buy. You're not going to make good choices when you're screwed up. When you're not confident, you're not going to invest with confidence. When you have the wrong kind of decision making, when you can't pick the right people, make the right decisions, you're not going to pick the right things. When you have a bad attitude, you're going to move to things and people that have bad attitudes, that continue to give you bad attitudes. Some people talk about this being karma. Some people say it's the law of attraction. It's called losing. It's not doing well. So how do I not lose? I have to improve me, not what I know. Am I a good stock picker? Do I know more about stocks? I need to improve me spiritually. And I know this might sound a bit strange for a Westerner to talk about the spiritual. My spiritual condition is more important than my material condition. My spiritual condition actually is going to control and manifest and determine the quality of my physical accumulation. We all know people that have accumulated things in the material universe and been completely unhappy. So that's a spiritual issue more than a material issue. It's not the car that made me happy or the money that made me unhappy. It's my spiritual condition didn't improve. So when my material environment improved, I wasn't ready to handle it. So number one, invest in yourself. Number two, you should only invest in your business in the beginning. If you only have $5,000, that $5,000 should be invested in you and should be invested in your business, not somebody else's business. There is no better investment than in my own business, including real estate, by the way, that I just spent 10 minutes talking about. The best return you're going to get is investing in me. I can't lose that investment. It's impossible for me to lose it in my confidence, in picking the right people, in learning how to get rid of the wrong people in my life. Three, when I invest in my business in marketing, advertising, hiring people, there's no way I lose on those investments. And typically, if I'm investing $5,000 in my business, I could get 100% return on that investment. And I should. If we pay an employee $70,000 a year, that employee should pay us somewhere between $250,000 and $650,000 a year in income. That's a tremendous investment. You never get that out of Apple stock. So I think people think about their $5,000, what stock they should invest. They should not be thinking about other things. They should be thinking about number one, me, number two, my business. And then the third thing is when you have extra money, start thinking about other investments.
Take insight from this answer. Thank you. How should you manage assets at different levels from 5,000 to 2 billion? Example, 5K to 1 million, 1 million to 10 million, 10 million to 100 million. If you have a step, is better. Thank you.
10X rule you and I talked about a while back. The concept is if you're at $5,000 right now, set some big target. All targets, by the way, in the beginning are big. When you're a baby and you want to use mom's phone, the kid doesn't even know what a phone is. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how to pick it up. All goals are impossible in the beginning. So when I tell somebody, look, we're going to go from 5,000 to 50,000. You're making $5,000 right now. We want to 10X that goal. I want to go from 5 to 50. The question to ask is, how do I do it? How could I do it? Who do I need to meet? What do I need to learn? Okay. What skills do I need to have? The only thing you can't do in this process is to quit, okay? Because if you just go from 5,000 to 10,000, nothing changes. Nobody gets excited. Yeah, I'll get excited going from 5 to 10. But when I go from 50, if I could actually achieve this, okay, then that would be super cool. Now, once I get to 50, once I hit my target, the goal is to change the target and 10x that target. Now I want to go from 50 to 500. Much more difficult. I gave myself a bigger problem. Oh, I need to meet new people. I need to learn new skills. I need to change my pricing. I need to maybe be in a different business. Now I want to go from 500 to 5 million, 5 million to 50 million. I've done all these, by the way. I started with less than 5,000. And now I'm like, okay, how do I keep scaling this? Okay. It's always going to be the same thing. Who do I need to meet? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to add on my team? It's who. It's not really what. It's not what I need to learn to do first. It's who do I need to meet that knows or has the information. Who do I need to hire? Who do I need to add? Who do I need to partner with? Okay. So the real way to go from, 5,000 to $1 billion, if you wanted to go all the way from 5,000, I want to become a billionaire. I'm going to become a unicorn company. You will not do that without answering this one question. Who? Who's my customer? Who's my partners? Who's on my board? Who's my investors? Who's my money? That's why I say, who's got my money?
How can salary workers with a little money investing in real asset? For your understanding, the average Korean salary is about $3,000 per month. That should you be careful of when making investment in real asset?
What I'm going to do as a salaried employee making $3,000, $4,000 a month, I am not going to start improving the quality of my life or my family's life in the beginning. It is out sequence. It is the incorrect sequence of improvement. The thing to improve is me first. I need to improve me. I need to get me better. I need to get my skill set better. I don't need to change jobs. I need to get better at my job. I don't need to worry about my money. I need to worry about the person I'm working for and their money. I need to make other people more money first. So, in the West over here, people on Instagram have a problem with making other people money. But the truth is, you cannot create wealth without making other people wealthier. And so when I made my first as a salaried employee, when I was 25 years old, I focused on making the company money and then make the company more money and then make the company even more money. More than anyone else in the company, so that the company then valued me more, so that I started having more confidence in my ability to produce for another company. You guys that are getting started, if you're getting started, you're making $3,000 or $4,000 a month, you should be investing for cash flow. Everybody wants to be a whale and they're still a minnow. A minnow, a little fish. You're a little fish and you want to be a big fish. What you need is a little drip. I need a little bit to feed the family this month. I need passive income. I need income. I don't need score. So this is the problem with some people want big giant score. I want to be head of the tribe before I'm even a servant to the tribe. So quit looking for big scores. Look for tiny drips. And typically that's dividends, passive income, recurring revenue. That to me is more important than a big score. I had confidence in myself to produce money for my own company.
Why do you think a business is an investment that can lose money? Because I did bankrupt from my business and you too. Could you explain in detail for the Korean audience?
I can't lose money. Business owners, they think, and I've worked with thousands of companies, right? If I pay for this, I'm losing money. If I buy marketing or advertising or I hire an employee, I lose money. That's not losing money. That's investment in your company. When the father buys a bicycle for their kid, that's losing money. Okay? Because bicycles don't make money unless you own a bicycle company. When you buy a car to drive your kids around, that is losing money. When you buy a car or a truck for your business to do deliveries, that's making money. But business owners think wrong. These are investments in your company. You cannot lose investing in your company. For instance, I bought the building that we're in right now. It was a $14 million building. Some people would say it was a bad investment. I'm like, okay, it could be. Compared to other investments, maybe it's a bad investment. That's one way to look at it. It's a good, bad, or great investment. But the way I looked at it was, it's an investment in my company. This is a place for my employees to come. This is a place for us to create. This is a place for us to build. This is a place for us to create for our company. This is a big branding. These are unmeasurable. I can't measure the value of somebody driving around the corner saying, oh, that's Grant Cardone's company. Oh, that's Cardone Capital. Oh, that's where they do the 10X thing. I don't know the return on that. Like some things cannot be measured. Business owners should not be measuring every part of your business as to the return. It's the wrong way to think. It is not the way billionaires think. It is the way accountants think. It is the way finance people think. It is the way your treasury department or your CFO thinks. But remember, accountants are not entrepreneurs. Accountants are employees, okay? The treasury person at your company, the finance person at your company looks at money. They look at numbers. They do not create customers. They do not create income. They report on some historical event. This was not a good investment. We have too many employees right now. Maybe you're one of them. When the accountant says we have too many employees, I'm like, are you one of them? Maybe we should get rid of you first. Maybe you're a bad investment. I'm talking about the salespeople. Well, the salespeople produce income. You only report on the income. Yes, you could make bad investments in your company. You could spend money on advertising that doesn't work. I would suggest to you that if you would continue advertising a bad ad, it would still work. If you don't quit on the investment at some point in time, you can figure out how to make that work.
That is so valuable lesson. Thank you, Cardone. Why should we be obsessed with dominating our expertise? To succeed, it's the fastest path.
You have to become obsessed with the path that you're taking. It is going to be a nasty, ugly, hard, long, disappointing, discouraging, full of rejection, tremendous amounts of discontentment, and almost a sense of lostness. So you have to be obsessed with this path, otherwise you will give up on it. Now, if you go back and study all the great books of all the great people that have existed on this planet, which there are many from many different cultures and many different religions, they were obsessed with a path. And they were very narrow-minded. They were like this. They were looking down. They were not everywhere. They weren't learning everything. So that's why I suggest to people, you must become obsessed with your path. This idea of balance is self-serving, that you would be 23 years old, have a job that pays $3,000, and you would have balance. I don't understand how to do that. If you want to become super successful, super wealthy, super happy, super in good shape, super marriage, you're going to have to be obsessed to get any of those one of those five things. You would have to be obsessed. To get all five of them, you will have to be obsessed and be surrounded by other people that are obsessed. And at that point, if you're truly obsessed, you are not going to settle for this, I must have a moment of balance. And maybe you need a moment, but you can't have a lifetime. You haven't earned it yet.
When building a business, build a team that's obsessed with what you are doing. I totally agree to do this.
To build a team, it goes back to target. My life is so simple. Everything returns to the same thing. What do we have, 260? 267. Okay, my next target is 2,667 employees. I want to 10x my employee count. Now, I can't go from 260 to 2,000 employees. I don't have the space for them. Maybe we do. Yeah. But I have to go in my mind first. And whether you do it consciously or unconsciously, you're still going there. Everything is done here first. You go out and buy a red car. You did not think of the red car on your own. You saw a red car, you saw a red color, you saw a red crayon, you saw a movie with a red something, and then decided, I want that color on my car, or something close to that. It happens here first. You have to pick it up here first. Now, the more a person can actually see it, right, and then work toward it, and then surround themselves with other people, they're like, yeah, I want 2,600 employees. Why would I want that many employees? Because the more employees you have, the more money you're going to make. You're not going to have more problems. If you'd like to get rid of your problems, I'm going to give you a little trick. The trick is to 10x the problem you have, to actually have more problems, and they will go away. Get the problem so big that the problem you had is no longer a problem. Like if you have a problem with girlfriends, let's say you're a single guy, playboy, Korean playboy, got a bunch of money, and you have a problem with girlfriends, okay? Well, the thing to do would be to get 10 times the girlfriends. And then once you have 10 girlfriends, and you're like, I still have problems with girlfriends, get 10 times that. Now you have 100. Okay? You guys can laugh at me. This will make a great viral video on YouTube. Once you have 100 girlfriends, then get 1,000 girlfriends. Okay? You have to hit 10 times. At some point, you're going to be like, I no longer have a problem with girlfriends, because at some point, you're going to get married. And you will have one problem again, one wife. At which point you do not want to 10x the wives, okay? Because then you will have to go live in another country. So the concept is, okay, you just keep 10xing. If you went from 2 employees where you have a problem and you go to 20 employees and you're like, oh my God, these people are driving me crazy. You don't have enough employees yet. You go from 20 to 200, they will not be driving you crazy anymore. They will drive someone else crazy, and you will now become an executive that manages a manager that manages people, because you will no longer even know their people's names.
Wow.
Let me tell you a story real quick. I was going to start investing in real estate. I was 28 years old, and I told my mother. My mother was the first person I would call. She was my best friend. She's not around anymore, but well, she's probably around, but she's not here anymore. And I called her. I said, Mom, I'm going to start buying real estate. My mom tried to talk me out, suggested to me that I should not become a real estate owner. And she says, you're going to have all kinds of problems with real estate. Don't do it. Tenants are going to bother you. People are going to not pay their rent. You're going to have problems with toilets and termites. And my mom almost talked me out of a $5 billion business, okay? Because she saw the problem. But I never saw the problem. Well, I had drawn this piece of paper. I'm not a good artist, but you don't have to be to do this. It was a piece of paper that looked like this, of a bunch of real estate with a bunch of doors on it. It's not a good drawing, right? I'm not an artist. But it said thousands of doors. And so my mom was like, you're going to have so many problems, so many people. I'm not going to have the problem. And by the way, if that's a problem, I want that problem. I want thousands of tenants being a problem.
Yeah.
Because at this point in my life, I was a tenant in one unit, and my problem was paying my rent. I went from having the problem of paying rent to the problem of collecting rent from 12,000 people, which is what we own today. We own 12,000 doors today. So you just got to shift the problem. Okay, if you have a problem with drugs, okay, well, the solution is to get off the drugs and then help 10,000 people get off of drugs. Don't just think about getting yourself off, get yourself off, and then 10,000 other people off or 10 people off. Because if you could do that, you'd go from having a problem to having a business.
Your mother is like my mother. You saw opportunity, she saw problem.
Every single problem I've ever had has actually become a business. So I was a salesman when I was 15 years old, and I didn't like being a salesman. When I was 16 years old, I was a salesman at a part-time on a summer job. I didn't like being a salesman. When I was 19 years old, I was a salesman and I got fired. When I was 20 years old, I was a salesman selling shoes and I hated it. Okay. When I was 23 years old, I was selling cars and I hated selling cars. And then one day I'm like, you keep hating this thing. And I end up becoming a best-selling author and a leader in the sales space. The problem I had became a business that would take care of me.
Wow, you growing up so different. For creating a ton of content, how much content are you producing per month or per week, per year, please?
How much content do I create a year?
Yeah, because I know your many content in SNS, YouTube. We can find your content, many content you did.
I don't know the right answer to this question. We create a lot of content. I don't know how much of it works. I think probably a lot of it does not work. But whatever, like, we still created it. I don't think there's an answer to how much. I don't think how much is really the issue, particularly in the beginning. This idea that you're going to create a lot of content, put it all over, and people are going to look at it, they're going to look at it. No matter how much content you create, you're competing with amounts of content that can't be measured. So it's immeasurable. It's an infinite number of pieces of content are being created every day. No matter how many you create, it won't matter. So now the question is, and I think the important part of creating content is not the audience. In the beginning, it is not the audience. It is to clarify your own message. The purpose of, and I'm talking about with the creator, in this case, I'm a creator, when I'm creating content. I'm not talking about giving it to a video team or an editing team or buying some TikTok person to create content for me. I'm talking about me actually delivering content. While this might provide value to your audience, the ultimate value received from today will be me, okay? I will get more from this. You're doing me more value today than your audience because I get to clarify through your questions my own content. I get to validate, verify, and become, what is my message really? Who am I? What is my story? The first purpose of the creation of content is to get clear on who you are and what your message is. The second one is, okay, now how much of that do I deliver to the audience? I don't think you can deliver too much. I think all would be too much. Yeah, I guess all, if you gave them everything, it would be too much. Probably a better answer would be if I gave everything in the exact order, it would be too much. We give everything. If somebody in America wanted to learn everything that I've ever taught, they could probably go on the internet and find it. Now, the problem is you're going to find a piece over here on real estate, a piece over here on growing your business, a piece over here on employees, a piece over here on social media, another piece over here on $1 billion. Like, it's all disordered. So, like, nobody would ever get it in the right order, even though they would get it for free. They didn't pay any money. But you still don't understand it. You don't understand the right sequence. So I'm dropping content. We drop a lot of content. I don't know how many pieces a year, tens of thousands of pieces a year. Twitter or X, Instagram, shorts, longs, YouTube. We could deliver another 100,000 units of content a year.
Yeah, that is incredible. You are very famous. I want to ask you, how many your staff are responsible for making content?
How many staff do we have for content? 10 video people?
10.
Probably $1 million of salaries on. That's why most people can't do this in the beginning. We didn't do it in the beginning. You know, to the person that's over there making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, right? In the beginning, it was me. It was me and this phone. We knew nothing about content. Okay, we bought a little studio. Our first move was from this to me posting. I started my YouTube account. I started my Facebook account. I started my Twitter account. I started my LinkedIn account. I built the bio personally. I was 51 years old. I shouldn't even know how to do this stuff. I didn't know how to do it. Nobody knows how to do it, okay? There was no how to, when to, what to. There was no ads. There was no monetization. This was 15 years ago.
You started 15 years ago.
So we started, what year are we in, 23? So yeah, probably 2009, 14 years ago.
Wow, very early stage.
I didn't have any followers. I didn't know how to get a follower. At that time, Instagram wasn't even around yet, okay? It was Periscope, Meerkat. They don't even exist anymore. There was no Clubhouse audio. There was no Twitter X or X Spaces. LinkedIn wasn't around yet. There was no streaming. There was no live, nothing. So we just started playing on it. I remember I created my first Facebook account. It was a Facebook personal page. I didn't know how to get followers. I had 6 people watching, responded to a post I did on Facebook in 2009. And I think 6 people responded. I told my wife, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I said 6 people saw my post. But I was excited. 500,000 people saw the last video that you and I did together. I remember the first 10 followers we had on YouTube. Everything we did went to YouTube. Now I think we have 2.4 million followers or subscribers on YouTube. We should have 10 million. So I just want everybody to understand this. I don't know what I'm doing on social media. 14 years later, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what works. I don't know what doesn't work. These other guys that say they know everything, good for them. Maybe they do. I just know that until I know how to do something, I got to keep doing it. While you guys are learning it, I'm doing it. Even if I'm doing it wrong, at least I'm doing it. If I do it wrong enough times, I'm going to learn something. Yeah, I want to do it right and I want to do it better, but until I can do it right and until I can do it better, I need to do it.
Wow, incredible. Oh. If you visit in Korea one day, tell me we can do something great with you.
What city? Let's pick a city and a date right now.
In Seoul. In Seoul, you can organize. If you said you can visit next year, you can do a big conference. You are fun.
Before we end the interview, let's just pick a date and let's me and you work on a date and put 5,000 people in Seoul, Korea in a room. What date you want to pick?
Wow. If you can, maybe next summer until August.
August. What's the best number in Korea? What's the most popular number between 1 and 30 in Korea?
Strong number is 7.
Good.
7.
Yeah, how's the weather in July?
In summer is very hot. July and August. If you want May, June, July, do you think okay, July?
Yeah, July is the 7th month too.
7 July is Sunday.
I like it. Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. We can do Sunday morning conference.
5,000 people. Grant Cardone. 10X.
I can make it.
Let's go.
I can prepare until now for 5,000 people in the big conference room.
5,777 people.
That is good. That is good. Okay. The people look at this video. They all inscription for this conference. Say something, please, Cardone, for your future audience.
First of all, everybody watching the channel, please subscribe to Kelly's channel. Subscribe. Do it now. I will be doing more interviews with Kelly. You are the best. You are phenomenal. You are doing great things for your people, Kelly. And I want to thank you again for having me on the show today. And I'll see you guys on July 7th.
7 July 2024. You come in Korea. Okay. Wow, all your team come together. Our city is very good. Our culture, so it's very, very good city. I think you will learn a lot of things.
I will love it. The people will love me and I will love the people, okay? Kelly, thank you so much for having me today, all right? Thank you.